11 minutes, the site shut him down. Twitter initially claimed the president's feed was inadvertently disconnected due to human error. 2 hours later, it blamed an employee, saying, quote, "We have learned that this was done by a Twitter customer support employee who did this on the employee's last day."
Fox's William Lajeunesse. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official FM NewsTalk 97.1 Weather Center forecast calls for cloudy skies with a shower tonight, low a mild 62. Breezy, warm, and humid tomorrow with more clouds and sun, high 77. Watch out for thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. Some will be severe with damaging wind and hail. There's a risk for an isolated tornado, too. Lingering showers early, otherwise cloudy and cooler tomorrow night, low 45. Mainly cloudy and cool Monday, high 53. I'm meteorologist Frank Strait for FM NewsTalk 97.1.
It wasn't easy starting my own business, but when it came to my internet and phone service, Spectrum Business was a no-brainer.
That's because Spectrum Business delivers the fastest internet starting speeds for less. 100 megs for just $44.99 a month when bundled. Call 888-845-8349.
Spectrum Business had the best deal for me. It was clear and simple and didn't require a contract.
With Spectrum Business Voice, there are no hidden fees, no added taxes, just unlimited local and long-distance calling for just $29.99 a month, and no contracts.
Who wants to sign a contract when you're just getting going?
So don't settle for less than the best for your business. Call Spectrum Business and get 100 meg internet for only $44.99 a month when bundled with voice for just $29.99 a month, and no contracts. Call 888-845-8349 today. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
These days, it's easy to have information overload. Sometimes I just want to kick back, hear my favorite music and the news that affects me. That's why I stay tuned into my local radio station. When important news happens in my part of town, I hear it from them first. For the best entertainment, sports, news, weather, and traffic, anytime, anywhere, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text RADIO to 52886. Furnished by the NAB and this station. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
For more than 20 years, Arrowhead Building Supplies customers in St. Peters have had to drive through our industrial park to visit us, often waiting behind big trucks or dealing with the park's railroad crossing. Well, our brand new Salt River Road entrance is now open for our customers, with direct access to our property. Our priority is to bring value to you, and once again, we've delivered. Our new entrance on Salt River Road is big, beautiful, and built just for you. Come try it out and see our showroom. Now also featuring the incredible new Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Harry's.com, the shaving supply people. So a little inside baseball with radio. Harry's is a big national advertiser, so it's a really big deal that they ever try out a little old station like 97.1, and it's an even bigger deal that they keep re-signing yearly deals. That means a couple of things. First thing it means is you guys are buying a lot of shaving supplies from Harry's. The second thing it means is that you're buying them because it's quality. How do I know that? I know that because they are offering you a free month's worth of shaving. The Harry's trial set, you get the weighted ergonomic handle, you get the 5 precision engineered blades, the rich lathering shave gel, the post-shave balm with zero obligation. You are not going to be sucked into some, I didn't know I signed up for this. It's completely free. You cover a couple of bucks in shipping. If you don't like them, you never talk to them again. Go to Harry's.com and use DGS at the checkout. Harry's.com, promo code DGS.
Hey folks, Mark Cox here. We want you to join us in thanking first responders all this month. Each day we're going to recognize area police, fire, and EMT units to show support for what they do in the community. We want to raise awareness and say thank you for the difficult job they do every day. Listen to the show for the daily spotlight on our first responders. We encourage you to show your appreciation by donating to Responder Rescue. It's a locally based organization giving assistance to responders in need. Go to 971talk.com for more information and see how you can help.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what we're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
There's a section of the book where Donna Brazile writes about that September 11th, 2016 fainting spell that Hillary Clinton had at the 9/11 memorial in Lower Manhattan. We all remember that moment where she fell over, and it set off a period of about 2 days of sort of buzz within the Democratic world about Clinton's health and her fate as the nominee. And Donna Brazile writes that she had seriously considered in secret whether to use her powers as the DNC chair to initiate the process of replacing Clinton as the nominee. And she considered about a dozen different combinations of candidates, and she says she settled in her mind on Vice President Biden as the nominee for president and Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey as the vice presidential candidate. She actually writes in the book that she heard on September 12th, the morning of the 12th, she got a call from Joe Biden's chief of staff saying that the vice president wanted to speak with Donna Brazile. She also heard from Bernie Sanders' camp. She heard from Martin O'Malley. Clearly, these guys seem to want to be sort of under consideration if there were to be a change at the top of the ticket.
Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. Hope you're enjoying this wonderful Saturday afternoon. So Donna Brazile is single-handedly putting the Democratic Party back on the map. And when you hear some of the stuff coming out about her new book that's coming out, you might have heard earlier this week where, I haven't heard a ton of people talking about this, but Politico had an article out that talks about how Hillary Clinton, her campaign, somehow managed to finagle a crumbling DNC mess, financial disaster, somehow managed to twist their arm into saying, you guys are, the Democratic Party is in an absolute mess. You don't have any money, because apparently President Obama left them with a massive amount of debt in his efforts to win re-election in 2012, and was slow to pay it back. So before Hillary Clinton became the party's nominee in the campaign for president in 2016, before she actually officially gained the nomination, what ended up happening is the Hillary campaign said, you know what, we got a ton of money. And what we're going to do is we're going to help you pay your debts, but we are going to then gain control and gain access to all of the fundraising that the DNC is doing around the country, while Bernie Sanders was still in the running for the nomination. So this was one more way that Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her DNC was tipping the scales in favor of Hillary getting the nomination. So we're all shocked and surprised that Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Hillary Clinton were in cahoots, right? We're all just, our mouths are agape with just absolute shock. No, not so much. But now we're finding out today that, remember on September 11th, everybody remembers this, even if you don't pay attention to politics, or were trying to by mid-September of 2016 not pay any more attention to the election because you couldn't handle it. You remember seeing Hillary Clinton staggering with people surrounding her, staggering her way into that big conversion van looking thing. And it was a big deal. It was really unnerving to see the potential leader of the free world, who I think at that time a lot of us thought was going to win this election. Certainly everybody in the Democratic Party seemed to think that she had it as a shoo-in. And Hillary Clinton was certainly doing everything behind the scenes to make sure she was going to win. You see Hillary Clinton, who I think is she 70? She's 70 years old. I think she's 70 now, because she and Donald Trump is 70. She was really close. No spring chicken. She's 70. Yeah, 70 years old. Walking to her car, her van, surrounded by security people, physically holding her up by the elbow, by the arm, so that she doesn't fall. and putting her in this van. And she was staggering. She was wobbling. It was as if the people let her go, she would fall. And we find out now in this book that Donna Brazile is coming out, and I question, yet I know the answer to the reason why Donna Brazile is saving all of us to come out in her book. Well, she's no dummy. But Donna Brazile has come out today and said that she strongly considered taking Hillary Clinton off the ticket after September 11th. Think about how close that is to the actual election. Think about how actually close that would have been to when you go to the polls and you cast a vote and everybody was thinking it would be Hillary Clinton. And everybody who was terrified of Donald Trump at that point knew that Donald Trump was the one who they were up against. How many votes that were placed in that election for Donald Trump were placed specifically because they couldn't stomach the thought of doing anything that would aid Hillary Clinton to the presidency. So we find out now that Donna Brazile, after that happened, Donna Brazile actively considered replacing her on the ticket. And the ultimate response that she came up with, the ultimate ticket that she came up with was a Joe Biden, Cory Booker ticket. Would that have changed people's minds? Do you think that people would have felt more comfortable going to the polls at that point to vote for a Biden-Booker ticket? Joe Biden is crazy Uncle Joe. He's kind of blah to me. Like, you know, if you asked me to tell you where Joe Biden sits on specific issues, I wouldn't actually know what Joe Biden's specific positions are outside of him being a Democrat, and then I would assert that he has the same positions on most things as Democrats do. But I don't know him to be extreme on any issues in particular. I don't know him to be absolutely, you know, like universal health care, which was a Hillary thing and became an Obama thing with Obamacare, was a step to universal health care. We knew what we were getting with Hillary, and we had known for quite some time. But I don't know what people would have thought about Joe Biden. And if you think about coming onto the scene in the middle of September to rescue what was clearly a failing campaign, when you think about Joe Biden coming on the scene and Cory Booker, who is extremely charismatic, I disagree with basically all of his positions and his political policies, but he's still engaging to watch. Think about what would have happened had she done that. So we go on to find out. So Philip Rucker is the one who wrote this for the Washington Post, and it's an amazing article to read. You definitely want to read it. But Philip Rucker, the author of this article, who has an advanced copy of Donna Brazile's book, was asked, would replacing Hillary Clinton on the ticket be solely because of her health, or is it more complicated than that?
Donna Brazile writes about traveling the country and detecting a really alarming lack of enthusiasm among the grassroots for Hillary Clinton during the fall. She says in her book that she always suspected in that period that Trump could win. She thought that the Clinton campaign was overly optimistic and confident about Hillary's standing out in the country, and she saw this fainting spell as sort of a moment of real vulnerability, and felt like, you know, Biden and Booker perhaps could be a stronger ticket against Trump, in particular appealing to those working class voters.
Isn't it funny to hear now in November of 2017 under President Trump, isn't it funny to hear the Democrats say, yeah, it wasn't going so great. Yeah, Hillary Clinton was really just not... Nobody liked it. Nobody liked her. There was no enthusiasm in her campaign. And then to think that Hillary Clinton writes a book about, quote, what happened. You know what happened? Ask Donna Brazile what happened. Ask the people who were apparently phoning Donna Brazile on that day after Hillary Clinton was teetering her way into the car Ask those people who were probably picking up the phone to say, hey, I don't know what you're thinking here, but if you're thinking what I'm thinking, I might be available. It's clear now. It's very clear now to me what I think the Democratic Party's plan is, specifically going into 2018. And I think it is to prove to the Democrats what a dumpster fire Hillary Clinton was. What a mistake it was to put the eggs in her deplorable basket. What a problem it was for the Democrats to assume that she would just take the throne in Washington, D.C., and just lead on their merry way the Democratic agenda. I think the Democrats, if they were smart, would do an about face and immediately be honest with their voters, be very forefront with their voters, and say, we screwed that up. That was a mistake. But if we want to stop Donald Trump, if there's one thing that the Democrats can get behind and even pull some establishment-like Republicans into their fray, if there's one thing that they can do, they can unite behind Donald Trump. And that is something that all the Democrats who supported Hillary and the ones who didn't support her as much can unite behind. And the reason why I'm giving pro tips here to the Democratic Party is because the Republicans are going to need to be aware of this. They're going to need to be prepared for this. Right now, the Democratic Party is Hillary's party. However long they allow that to just simmer and stink, the better for the GOP. But you have tax reform right now on the docket. And if this tax reform bill goes through, and the people who it appears are going to be helped are helped in the way that they're going to be helped, the Democrats are screwed for a really, really long time. And so the Democrats, right now, I feel as though they understand that the only way that they can reassemble is to push Hillary Clinton in front of the bus and do it fast and do it furious. Let her take the fall for everything. She has no future ahead of herself. She has no political career left for herself. If she thinks for a second that she has a shot at 2020, she couldn't. There's no way that she's got a shot at 2020. And if the Democrats cannot get their act together to find something better than that for 2020, they're doomed. But Donna Brazile coming in at the last minute, Donna Brazile, the honorable person who took over the DNC, who absorbed this massive mess from Debbie Wasserman Schultz, this massive disaster from Hillary Clinton, and it was too late for her, which is why she can come out and say this. This is why she can throw the dirty laundry on the lawn. But when she's doing it, she's saying, not in my house, not here. I'm not defending Donna Brazile in any capacity from her politics, but what I'm saying is I believe this is very calculated. Let's own it all. Let's be honest with our voters. Let's tell them everything we know so that we can once again make them feel like we understand who they are and where they're coming from, because the Hillary campaign was so detached with the average American, which is why they lost the Beltway states. You get the version of Cory Booker, you get the version of Joe Biden up there. Who knows what would have happened? Who knows what kind, you talk to some Trump voters, you obviously have people who are very supportive of Donald Trump for very specific reasons, and you have a lot of people who are supportive of their president. They're glad he won, wasn't their first pick, but he's doing an okay job, and you wouldn't want him to teach your son lessons about being a gentleman. That's pretty much the way I am. I'm happy every morning I wake up and Donald Trump is the president and Hillary isn't. Every single morning without fail. And he's got a huge opportunity coming up here with tax reform. Huge. And like I said in my Facebook Live video that I do right before the show starts, facebook.com/Annie Frey Show, go like the page there. Go like it. Give me a like. It makes me happy. And rate the show. But like I said in there, I don't know tax things. I'm pretty dumb when it comes to tax things. So I like to ask a lot of questions. So I've got Romina Boschia, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly, from heritage.org, who's an expert. And she's going to come on and answer my perceivably dumb questions so that you can hear what she has to say. Chuck Schumer says it's a disaster, and the Republicans are saying it's like, let's put the flag on top of the mountain and say we won. We haven't even passed anything yet. So we're going to ask her. She's going to tell us. So stay tuned for that. If you want to call in the show, 314-969-9797, 866-455-9797. I'll take some phone calls as soon as we get done figuring out all the tax problems that we have in this country in one segment. Stay tuned at Annie Frey Show on Twitter on the break. Be back in a minute.
There's a big old hole in the middle of you 'cause somebody left you black and blue.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now, 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797.
Log on to 97.1talk.com/Allman and you can watch the show live on the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam. Use your mobile device or computer to join the Allman in the Morning live stream. Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam, 97.1talk.com/Allman.
When it's time for hospice, patients shouldn't wait. Neither should you. Vitas Healthcare has technology that assures smooth, seamless transitions and customized patient care that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Compassion-driven care for families in distress, technology-driven solutions for healthcare professionals. Refer today. Don't delay. Call 888-VITAS-80 or go to vitas.com. That's VITAS.com. First licensed in 1980.
With Spectrum Internet, you can expect to get what you pay for. That means faster internet, consistent speeds, and better performance than our competition. But don't just take our word for it. Check the latest FCC broadband report. Then call 844-855-2999 and switch to Spectrum Internet. We deliver the speed you expect and the bandwidth to serve all your streaming needs. Did you know some internet providers actually slow down your connection once you go over your data limit? With Spectrum Internet, there are no data caps and no speed throttling. So call 844-855-2999 and get 100 megs of faster, more reliable internet. Just $29.99 when bundled. No modem fees, no contracts. That's the fastest internet starting speed available for the price and the bandwidth you need to stream, watch, and share on all your devices. Call 844-855-2999 and switch to Spectrum Internet today. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Gravity is only a suggestion. Physics is just a theory. Impossible is merely an opinion. Monster Jam! Celebrating 25 years of adrenaline-charged family entertainment and selling out stadiums across the country. Tickets are on sale now. Monster Jam returns with 2 huge shows coming to the Don't Let America Center March 3rd and 4th. Don't miss out. Lock in your seats today. For tickets and show details, visit monsterjam.com today.
Men, are you tired of those daily blue enhancement pills that take days, weeks, or months to work, if they ever work at all? Listen up. Now you can take Red, the new natural male empowerment pill that works on demand. Even your partner will notice the difference the very first time you use it. To prove Red won't disappoint like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works the very first time you try it. We guarantee your partner will also notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take Red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplies are limited. So to ensure your participation in this free nationwide trial, you must call now.
Superior virility on demand. You only need to take Red once to see what all the fuss is about. Call immediately to participate in our free nationwide trial. Call 800-930-7620. 800-930-7620. Be one of thousands to proudly say, I take Red. 800-930-7620.
The guys, Glover here for the fine fine people at Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. So, no surprise, I'm going to talk to you today about the holidays because it's a real thing. We want our homes to look as good as they can. We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's and birthdays and anniversaries and engagement parties and the whole bit. Plus, it's wintertime, which means we are going to be spending more time inside. And the kids are going to be rolling around and laying around on the carpet, watching television. So you want your carpets to not only look clean, but you want them to be clean, because just think about it from a scientific standpoint. Gravity, all the nasty stuff of the world from you, from your dogs, from the earth fall down, and it falls on your carpet and it gets real bad. Zero Res can clean them expertly. 3 big rooms for just $119. Call 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Brian Kilmeade here. Join me on Saturday, November 18th for a special morning event as we discuss my latest book, Andrew Jackson and the Miracle of New Orleans, the battle that shaped America's destiny. The 97.1 Speaker Series event powered by the Hammond Institute will be held at the J. Scheidegger Center at Lindenwood University. It's free to attend, but you can win sold-out VIP tickets that include a personal meet and greet, reserved seating, and a copy of my new book at 971talk.com. Presented by NTP Cybersecurity.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
It's always stunning to me when you listen to the secretary, who we just heard from, and then one of the Democratic congresswomen who we just heard from, looking at the very same bill and saying and seeing such vastly different things. There are opinions and there are facts here. What's negotiable in this bill for Republicans to try and come a little bit closer, even within your own caucus?
Oh, Leland, look, the number of moving parts. This is a full employment act also, at least for a little while, for the lobbyist community. Do remember, a lot of the deductions that are going away so we can lower everyone's rates, a lot of lobbyists have made their livings on maintaining or expanding those deductions. And if you're on the left side, a lot of my friends on the left are terrified of the Republicans having a pretty big victory of delivering these tax reductions and something that expands the economy.
Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. We've got a new GOP tax plan sitting in front of us, and we have to figure out what to make of it. And this is one of those things that's super important to us, but to people like me and possibly you, it gets complicated fast, and then the eyes start to glaze over, and you're like, can you please just stop taking less of my money? I think I could maybe manage it a little bit better than the United States government. We're joined now by Heritage.org's Romina Boccia. Romina, thanks so much for some time on a Saturday evening. We appreciate you and your insight.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on.
Absolutely. So you work with Heritage.org. You have lots of a wealth of knowledge to pull from here if people go read your stuff on Heritage.org. The biggest question that I have is just from a layman's perspective, somebody who's just watching the news, and you see, if you see the R next to the name person talking, it's the best thing that's ever happened. If you see the D next to it, then it's government hates the little people, and they are like Scrooge McDuck, rich people jumping in their piles of extra money that they're going to have after this tax plan gets through. Which of these is the more accurate depiction for the average middle-class American individual who's going to work, trying to pay their bills, and could really use that extra few dollars at the end of the month to help pay for the necessities of life? Which of these beliefs do we actually subscribe to a little bit more?
It actually falls somewhere in the middle, and what we try to do at the Heritage Foundation, my colleagues and I, is that we really try to provide a nonpartisan, clear, objective analysis whenever we can. Of course, we're biased towards smaller government and conservative public policy, but if you look at this tax bill, I'm actually quite surprised that Democrats and people on the left are screaming about it. It seems to me those talking points were written before they ever saw the bill, because the bill really keeps the highest marginal tax rate on the wealthiest earners. It provides most of the tax relief on the lower end and to the lower middle class. And where this bill is really exciting is that the policies in it, we know from economic research and looking at other countries and states that have lowered their business tax rates, that this will drive up wages for workers. It will increase economic growth. And those two together, plus the tax relief that's in the bill, means more money in the average American's pocket, and that's a good thing.
That's at the end of the day, that's what we need to actually have happen here, is that the people who are working hard for their money need to be able to keep more of it so that they can provide for the people and for their responsibilities, whether it be people or bills or whatever. There's one thing that I've heard, and I thought it was a really good point, is you hear a lot of these Republican politicians talking about how excited they are to allow, what is it, $1,100 or $1,200 back in your pocket at the end of the tax season. Well, that money it's not a gift from the government back to the individual, to the taxpayer, because they had to take that money from the taxpayer and they would be returning that amount of money. Is it really enough? Is the benefit to the taxpayer here, especially the middle class taxpayer, is it really enough in this tax bill to do what it needs to do for these people? Have they cut enough yet?
The problem that the lawmakers and President Trump ran into is they really wanted to provide strong tax relief to lower and lower middle class Americans. But the truth is that our income tax code is highly skewed towards the wealthy. It was actually quite difficult to return those funds to lower and middle class taxpayers because most of the taxes actually come from state and local taxes, property taxes, and their payroll taxes. On the federal income side, the tax burden falls most heavily on the top 50% of income earners and even more heavily on the top 10%, which pay 70% of the federal income tax burden. But where this plan is really exciting, and that's an issue that I really want to focus on, is it's not just about those $1,000 in lower taxes for most middle-class Americans, but what's more exciting is the $4,000 in estimated wage growth over the next 10 years that we can expect from this plan due to the lower business tax rates, which will drive up investment and create more economic activity here in this country. Many businesses have been leaving the United States. We're excited to invite them to invest back in America, invest in American workers, and that will drive up wages. And with the lower tax rates, it also means that those higher wages will be taxed at lower rates. So overall, Americans will see a lot more money in their pockets.
We're speaking with Romina Boccia from heritage.org. Another thing, so much of this doesn't have anything to do with the facts because, as we know in politics, facts are the real things that don't get talked about. And when you have Democrats who find a camera and they're standing there with the opportunity to speak to the American people, they tend to pull on the heartstrings. They tend to find that emotional connection with the prospective voters, the supporters or the detractors, that really gets them to lean to the left side of the aisle. And one of the things that I heard Leland Vittert on Fox talking about with Representative Schweikert was this idea of taking away like a tax deduction for teachers who, and I'm married to a public school teacher, so I understand this. Teachers get to write off some things. There's a deduction there. And there's this deduction that's going away for teachers who are spending their own money to have stuff for their classrooms. But yet it does something beneficial in some other part for hedge fund managers. So the idea is that a Democrat can go and say, why do you hate the little guy and why do you hate the teachers? And the point that was made was that the benefit that this tax plan does is so massive on the front end by doubling, the benefit.
The standard deduction.
That all these little nickeling and diming things that here's this for the teacher and here's this for the public servant and here's this. Instead of doing all these little nickel and dime things, they just made the initial thing so much larger that you don't have to go through and make sure that you're finding all these deductions. Is that an accurate assessment? We're not hating teachers. The Republicans don't hate teachers. They're actually trying to help them in a bigger way.
You make a really important point here. One of the primary goals for this tax reform effort was to simplify the highly convoluted and outdated U.S. tax code that is costing the American taxpayer, and especially small businesses and other individuals like teachers who have business expenses, way too much time to file their taxes. Right now, about 30% of individual tax filers have to itemize their taxes. And that example you bring up with the teacher who might itemize some of those expenses to write those off on his taxes, that would be part of that 30%. With the doubling of the standard deduction, that number of Americans is getting cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
So most likely that teacher will no longer have to keep track of all those expenses because the higher standard deduction takes care of all of that. And that will save individuals countless hours and not having to file their taxes two different ways to figure out which is best for them. So simplification, lower rates, and boosting economic growth, those were the three primary goals, and that's where that tax reform bill really fits the bill.
Well, Romina, I want to add in Jimmy here. Jimmy's calling in the show. He's an attorney. Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and ask Romina, be brief, but ask Romina your question so that she can answer it adequately.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Sure.
I was wondering about the 25% max on pass-through taxation for small business owners. I'm a sole practitioner. As an attorney, I've got an LLC, and I was really looking forward to the 25% max on that. But I read something online that said that it might not apply to guys like me and accountants and other people who provide a service like that as their business. Can you clarify that for me? Am I going to be able to take advantage of the 25% pass-through on that?
So, for your question, and there is a lot of confusion about the lower 25% rate, and without knowing the details of your specific case, I can't comment on that. But just to generally comment on that policy, there is a concern that this will be the first time that the business pass-through tax rate, meaning individuals filing their business income through the personal income tax code rather than through the corporate side, that rate would be lower than the marginal tax rate on personal income. And so there is a concern that certain individuals, and this includes lawyers, hedge fund managers, might try to avoid paying that higher marginal tax rate by claiming more of their business income, more of their personal income as business income. So there's some protections built in to prevent some of that. And the current protection is that 70% has to be claimed as a personal income, and only 30% can be claimed as business income. It's to avoid people turning their professions into contracting roles, so that a lawyer who currently works for a firm and receives all his income as personal income might now have an incentive to instead work as a contractor for his firm in order to claim the lower rate, and that's why some of those protections have been built in. But that is a concern that the National Federation for Independent Businesses has raised, and that will be something I think lawmakers will take a closer look as this bill moves through the Senate.
Last question I wanted to ask you, and thank you for answering Jimmy's question there. I want to play for you this bite from Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer pretty much speaks for the Democrats these days. Listen to what he has to say. I want to get your response to this.
This plan is a tax burden that ought to be on the backs of the wealthy and the biggest corporations, but instead it drops it squarely on the backs of the middle class. You're a big corporation, you're a wealthy individual, you do great. You're a middle-class person, you suffer.
So is Chuck Schumer is his cheese completely off his cracker?
Yes. In fact, the wealthiest don't see their rate cut like everybody else does. There's lower rates, except the highest marginal tax rate is kept in place. You add to that the Obamacare tax is well over 40%. But Democrats laid out their strategy early on in this tax reform fight. They want to be at the table, but they first want to see this first effort fail. And they've been pretty vocal about that. And I've been reading about this. And the idea for them is, obviously, if there's going to be a tax reform effort that will provide real benefits to the American people and bring more businesses to America so there'd be more jobs and higher wages, which this tax reform effort is trying to do. They'd like to claim some credit as well. Right now, this bill is a Republican effort, so I'm not surprised that they're trying to spread misinformation about the actual effects of this bill, because they'd like potentially a bite at that apple as well. But we need to be very clear about the facts here, which are that lower and middle-class Americans see the biggest tax cuts. The child tax credit is also a great enhancement that shifts some of the tax benefits from wealthier individuals and families towards families with children that will benefit, especially the lower-income and middle-income Americans more. And the lower rates apply primarily to those income classes. Upper middle class and wealthier individuals actually end up paying most of the tax burden from this plan. So when it comes to the corporate rate, we also should be very clear that the corporate tax is paid by workers. It is collected at the corporate level, but ultimately the cost falls on workers. And so when you're cutting the corporate rate, it's not the shareholders, it's not the CEOs of the corporation that benefit, but ultimately it's the workers.
That's a great point. I think that's spot on. I said last question before, but I have one more to ask you real quick. We were going to get health care taken care of before we got tax reform, and that was a massive failure. However, there was a lot of discussion about maybe doing some more health care tweaking through the tax plan. Does the Obamacare tax go away with this new tax plan?
So they did not address any of the Affordable Care Act taxes that they had been trying to repeal as they were trying to repeal the entire health care law. The president has been calling for repealing the individual mandate. That did not make it into this tax plan, but it's still being discussed. There's some potential that might be added in the Senate. We'll have to keep a close eye on the bill. It would actually save about $300 billion if that individual mandate was overturned. So there is potential for that, but right now there's no Obamacare tax provisions that are being addressed in this tax bill.
All right. Romina Bacha, heritage.org. Thank you so much for your time and your insight. It's not like this conversation is going away anytime soon, so we will continue to pay attention to your guys' fine work at the Heritage Foundation. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break here, and we are going to talk to Tony Colombo. After this quick break here, he is going to DGS 4 tonight. It's in downtown St. Louis. I am going to hustle over there right after the show is over, and we're going to find out what they're going to be doing tonight, how fun it's going to be, and whether or not you can still get tickets to go. Stay tuned at Annie Frey Show on the break. Be back in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now, 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here. Download the free Next Radio app on your phone and listen to live local FM radio. It's now available on all smartphones. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the app today. Next Radio, an affiliate of MS Communications.
When we were getting ready to open the business, we shopped around a couple different banks, but when we went to Regions, they treated us the best.
The Regions Next Step project is helping a real customer, Eddie, confidently take his next step in life and in his business, Signature Granite.
In order for the business to keep growing, you have to keep investing. It took a lot of years and just working hard, but Regions never gave up on us.
Eddie's Regions banker, Stacy, helps him manage his money so he can focus on longer-term goals, like getting on track for retirement, buying new equipment, and growing his business.
We sat down and spoke with Stacy, and I explained to her what we wanted for the granite shop, and she helped us right away.
Eddie and other real customers count on their helpful Regions banker to take their next step. Ready to take your own? Regions Bank is right here in St. Louis. Call, click, or come by.
We're in a great place, and we're ready to take our next step.
Regions Bank. Member FDIC. Paid appearance by an actual Regions customer telling his real story.
I'm Jim Evinger, CEO of Renew Sleep Solutions. Are you ready to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea without a big, bulky CPAP mask or painful surgery? The Renew Sleep system from Renew Sleep Solutions is the FDA-cleared, compact, comfortable, custom-fit solution that's proven to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea. There's no mood-killing mask, no pain or downtime, just a better night's sleep for you and the loved one next to you. I've seen it change thousands of lives, and yours can be next. The Renew Sleep system is covered by most medical insurance, and right now is a great time to use your HSA or flexible spending account. Many have already met their deductible for the year, so there may be little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Feel great again, St. Louis. Learn more at renewsleep.com or call 314-279-9000. That's 314-279-9000. Or go to renewsleep.com.
I'm waking up my day. Let's get it started. Turn it up, turn it on. Keep the morning moving right along.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Steincross.
And I'm Margie Ellisor.
Well, we here at Fox 2 News in the Morning,
including John Pertzborn, Lisa Hart,
Randy Naughton, Kim Hudson,
and Glenn Zimmerman.
We want to thank you for watching Fox 2 News in the Morning.
See you Monday.
I'm waking up my
Contractors, meeting with your customers can be difficult. Making time to actually sit down and go over product and color selections is tough when your suppliers close by 5 p.m. every day. Only Arrowhead Building Supply has your solution. We've built mind-blowing, beautiful showrooms that are professional and convenient. We now have new store hours until 8 p.m. weekdays and noon on Saturdays. Arrowhead has also built private contractor presentation rooms for you. These feature large LED televisions and product video libraries, so you can show your customers how products will look and what to expect. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Brook Linen. They are a linen company. They do sheets and comforters and pillowcases and duvet covers and things like that. And they reached out to me because of the success I've had with their friends at Harrys.com. It's a very similar story where this couple who started Brook Linen, Vicky and Rich, stayed at a nice hotel and they slept on this great bedding. And the next morning they're checking out and they made a joke like, "Hey, I wish we could buy that bed linen." And they said, "You can. It's $800." And they laughed and they went to breakfast. Then they checked into it and they realized that with all bedding, there's so many middlemen that they could get you better bedding, higher quality, higher thread count at a fraction of the cost by simply doing it themselves. They're the fastest growing bedding company in the world, 12,000 five-star reviews. I can get you $20 off and free shipping when you use the promo code Glover at brooklinen.com, BROOKLINEN. Everything's guaranteed. Check it out, brooklinen.com.
Hey, it's Tim Jones. Join me for the Tim Jones Show, Sunday, 7 to 9 p.m. We'll have Tim's Top 3, Media Malpractice, the top newsmakers of the week, and your phone calls.
The Tim Jones Show on FM NewsTalk 97.1.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes, sir.
Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
Simply from an optics issue, ABC poll recently, 60% of Americans say that they think this tax cut is going to benefit the rich. Whether they're right or not, that's how they're seeing it. My question is, how are Republicans going to convince the American people that this is the right thing when there are these other talking points that the Democrats have been able to bring, whether it's the issue of the tax credit for teachers, whether it be something like property taxes?
It's a brilliant question because, let's face it, a lot of us, particularly those of us in the Ways and Means Committee, we often get behind a camera like this and we sound like accountants and CPAs. And the Democrats talk emotions and this. But I'm hoping at some point when we hold up the charts, the math speaks for itself.
Don't you love it when the math speaks for itself? Nothing speaks for itself in this world anymore. Tax reform is so boring. I mean, here I am sitting on FM News Talk 97.1, and you know why it's boring? It's boring because Hollywood is in a cultural meltdown right now with people doing things that apparently have been doing them for a long time, but now we're finding out about them, and it's very distracting and it's flashy. It's
Julianne Margulis today.
Yeah, didn't she say Steven Seagal
And Harvey Weinstein.
and Harvey Weinstein? I mean, it's like if you weren't harassed by Harvey Weinstein in Hollywood, you're probably wondering how that never happened.
She showed up at a supposed reading with a producer director, and it was Steven Seagal with a gun in the room on display, and she screamed and got out of there.
Yeah.
And then she also had known about the whole Harvey deal, so she showed up at his hotel room with another person, and he showed up in his trademark bathrobe. There was dinner for two set out and candles set up, and not three. And he saw that it was her and her friend, and he slammed the door in her face.
Yeah, it's not shocking. So then we try to talk about tax reform. Nobody wants to hear about tax reform.
Let's go to Tony Colombo.
People want to be entertained. People want to listen to 97.1 and be entertained, which everybody who listens to 97.1 from 3 to 7 p.m. on weekdays is entertained because they're listening to The Dave Glover Show. We're joined now by Tony Colombo of The Dave Glover Show, and also you heard him right before our show started on the Weekend Report. Tony, thanks for giving us some time really quickly because you're a busy man right now.
Yeah, no, thank you for letting me jump on here really quick.
So what are you doing?
So excited to do this. We are live right now at the Grandel Theater. It is DGS 4, the fourth Dave Glover live event. The VIP party is just getting ready to start in just about 10 minutes. The show starts at 7:30, and there are still some walk-up tickets available.
Awesome.
So it's not too late to get in your car, get down here to the Grandel Theater, which is just amazing, absolutely beautiful Grandel Theater, and join us for the party.
Yeah, if you go to the DGS Facebook page, the Dave Glover Show Facebook page, there's a video on there somewhere. Just scroll, you'll find it, where Dave is actually at the theater on the stage inviting people to come out, so you can kind of see how cool the whole place is. It's going to be a pretty cool, intimate setting, and I've been to these events. They're always funny. They don't disappoint. Have you talked to Dave today? Is he completely prepared? Has he gone through his ritual, and is he ready to take on the masses and make them laugh till they cry?
Dave Glover, the way Dave Glover gets prepared is he walks out on stage, thinks of a story, and starts talking.
And it just goes.
He is fully prepared.
Which is why it's so funny to listen to you guys, because that's the way the show is. It's not like you guys sit down and do hours of prep before a show starts. Dave just does the Dave thing, and then you guys get to laugh along like the rest of us tuned in. Dave being Dave is a pretty entertaining thing to see.
Absolutely. And actually, Dave also, if you've been to one of these live shows before, he is doing about 70% different stories.
Yeah.
So he's going to do some of his classic stories if you've seen him before. But if you've been to these before and you think, oh, I've heard all the jokes, you've not heard all the jokes. So, yeah, it is it's going to be a blast. Dave is freaking hilarious at these things. And then it's going to be fun to sit and do the Q&A with the whole group on stage in a little while.
So tell people where to go and what to do.
Grandel and join us.
Yeah, so it's at the Grandel Theater. It's downtown St. Louis, right?
Yeah, right across from the Powell, right next to the Fox, right there, on Grand.
Mm-hmm.
You can't miss it.
Awesome.
Gorgeous theater.
And a few tickets still remain if people go down now. And you know what? If you go there and you don't get tickets because they're sold out, you can have my seat. I'll stand in the back with the crew or somewhere behind the stage. I dragged my husband down to have a date night, and you can have our seats. That's fine. I'm sure our seats are not very impressive, but all the seats in that theater are decent.
Not a seat in the. Don't think like, oh, we're going to get there last. If we walk up, we're going to get a terrible seat. There is not a bad seat in the theater, so not too late to come down and join us.
And you're joining Dave on stage, and who else will the audience get to see with their own two eyes tonight?
Well, the whole show is here. So Mark and Rachel and Dave and me, Dave's going to do the first half of the show with his stand-up comedy, which, like I said, is absolutely hilarious. It is not FCC friendly. Don't bring your kids. You get to see a side of Dave that you don't get on the radio. And then after he does that, it will take a little bit of an intermission, and then the whole crew will come up stage, Mark and Rachel and myself, and we'll do some Q&A, and we'll tell some stories. And it's just, these things are just an absolute blast. I look forward to these every time. They are so much fun. So
all right.
We are excited to be here.
Follow Tony Colombo on Twitter at Tony Colombo 971. Did I say that right? At Tony Colombo.
That is right.
All right.
You got it.
And I'll see you in a few minutes. And if you want to come out and join the 97.1 family, we will be out there having a little bit of a party atmosphere. It's always fun when Dave Glover takes the stage and we get to just all sit around and laugh with you just like you do when you listen to the show. Michelle Obama and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, two women that I want to talk about after this break for completely different reasons. At Annie Frey Show on Twitter. Be back in a minute.
Summer's slowly coming to an end, and once again, you've put off getting the repairs done to your home's basement. Don't wait any longer. The basement specialists at Midwest Basement Tech will give you 3 good reasons not to put off fixing that leaky, cracked basement. Reason number 1, the problem will only get worse and cost you more money in the long run. Number 2, call now and save 10% on all repairs. They also offer 12 months same as cash, or stretch it out with their long-term financing program. And reason number 3, Midwest Basement Tech is family-owned and operated and a great company to work with. They actually care about your home. They have a fully staffed office, and when you call, you can actually talk to a real person. Midwest Basement Tech offers only patented engineered products to create a healthy and strong basement, serving both sides of the river. Call the experts at Midwest Basement Tech now. 800-848-9805. That's 800-848-9805. Or visit their website, MidwestBasementTech.com.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k, IRA, or investment account? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Many experts warn of a stock market crash any day now. And if it's anything like the last 2 crashes, you could lose 50% or more of your hard-earned savings in the Wall Street casino. Can you afford to lose half of your retirement savings again? Hey, you don't have to lose a penny, because there's a better, safer way to save for retirement. And you can learn all about it in a free report. This is the report Wall Street and big banks desperately hope you never see. Why? Because this method continues to grow your money even when the market tumbles. It lets you take back control of your money and finances, and it gives you penalty-free access to your savings. Plus, it beats the pants off any 401k or IRA. These are uncertain times, so get the information you need today to guarantee your retirement security. To get this free report, go to bankonyourself.com right now. That's bankonyourself.com. bankonyourself.com.
Cold weather tends to make people stop thinking about the outside of their home. At Banner Construction, that's when they begin scheduling their springtime work. So if you're planning an exterior beautification project anytime soon, take advantage of Banner's off-season pricing on the nation's most luxurious siding, James Hardie Fiber Cement Siding. Quality craftsmanship is a must when working with James Hardie products. That's why James Hardie has named Banner Construction an elite preferred remodeler for the past decade. And if you're considering new windows, check out Beechworth Windows. They come from the same renowned James Hardie company. If you've considered any of the big 3, Marvin, Pella, or Anderson, you owe it to yourself to look at Beechworth Windows. They stack up with the best, and you'll be surprised at their affordability. Call Banner Construction today to learn more about how they can help you with these important projects around your home. Call Banner at 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web. And don't forget, have a banner day.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by Window World.
FM News Talk 97.1.
A marathon race for diplomacy. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. President Trump arrives in Japan tonight to kick off a 12-day tour across 5 Asian countries, North Korea topping the agenda.
As much as they would love to have consensus on North Korea, I think the best-case scenario, White House officials would tell you, is simply getting to a point where they agree with our partners in this region to not act proactively against North Korea without at least first consulting our partners here in the peninsula. And that may be difficult to do, but that's part of the conversation the president will certainly have with Prime Minister Abe as he makes his way here to Japan.
Fox's Kevin Corke in Tokyo. The president might meet with Russian leader Vladimir Putin at a summit in Vietnam. New York City police beefing up security for tomorrow's marathon after Tuesday's terrorist attack.
We more than doubled our observation teams, our rooftop observation posts, as well as our counter-sniper teams from the Emergency Services Unit throughout the boroughs, not just here in Manhattan. And we've also added more heavy weapons teams.
Chief of Department Carlos Gomez, 8 people were killed and several injured in the truck attack on a bike path. The latest sexual assault allegations against Harvey Weinstein could lead to criminal charges.
Authorities in New York say they're developing a strong criminal case against Weinstein after actress Paz de la Huerta says Weinstein raped her twice in 2010. Investigators say de la Huerta was articulate about each and every moment of the alleged crimes, and her account fits within the statute of limitations, but it's still a challenging case.
Fox's Will Carr, Weinstein denies sexually assaulting anyone. North Carolina police are looking for an ice cream man on the run. Authorities in Durham say the man used his ice cream truck to lure and assault children. 51-year-old Isamfahi Mohammed Rama is wanted on multiple charges of first-degree kidnapping. And the Prime Minister of Lebanon suddenly resigns, blaming Iran and Hezbollah for meddling. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official FM NewsTalk 97.1 Weather Center forecast calls for cloudy skies with a shower tonight, low a mild 62. Breezy, warm, and humid tomorrow with more clouds and sun, high 77. Watch out for thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. Some will be severe with damaging wind and hail. There's a risk for an isolated tornado, too. Lingering showers early, otherwise cloudy and cooler tomorrow night, low 45. Mainly cloudy and cool Monday, high 53. I'm meteorologist Frank Strait for FM NewsTalk 97.1.
In Missouri, we're lucky. Think about it. All the profits from all Missouri Lottery tickets turn into programs for schools and students. From early childhood education to A-plus scholarships for college. And from scratchers to Powerball, every ticket you play builds on that. That's something we can all be proud of. Play it forward with the Missouri Lottery.
Have you discovered the Lombardo difference? Discover unrivaled quality and extraordinary details. Discover customization perfectly suited to you. Discover Lombardo Homes' newest community, Heritage at Hawk Ridge in Lake St. Louis. Grand opening Saturday, November 4th. Heritage of Hawk Ridge offers spacious ranch villas from 1,600 to over 2,000 square feet, starting in the 250s. The desirable community amenities include a 10,000 square foot clubhouse, outdoor pool, tennis courts, fitness center, on-site restaurant, and planned community activities. Learn more at lombardohomes.com.
Hi, I'm Kelly Clarkson, and I've toured the country dozens of times, and there's one thing every state has in common: childhood hunger. The sad truth is that 17 million kids don't know where their next meal is coming from, or if it's even coming at all. Yet there are billions of pounds of surplus food around the country at farms and warehouses that could help end this injustice. But all that food is useless if it doesn't get where it needs to go. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids before it goes to waste. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank. Find out how at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
The news of the day.
Hillary Clinton stole the election from Bernie.
It is a rigged system.
Every day.
I, for one, am not going to be fooled by that.
You want to look at the new book by Donna Brazile. She basically bought the DNC.
This is a real problem.
St. Louis's FM News Talk.
The president heads to Asia.
Talking about trade, North Korea.
This is it.
Tremendous tax cut.
FM News Talk 97.1.
Bill's like a fish. It stinks.
Younger, smarter.
We're going to prove them wrong.
Better.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Because you're running the world, and I know that's one of the questions. It's like raising our men. We got to rest. Talking to my mother about that the other day. Yes. It's like the problem in the world today is we love our boys, and we raise our girls. You know, we raise them to be strong, and sometimes we take care not to hurt men. And I think we pay for that a little bit, and that's a we thing because we're raising them. You know. And it's powerful to have strong men, but what does that strength mean? You know, does it mean respect? Does it mean responsibility? Does it mean compassion? Or are we protecting our men too much so they feel a little entitled and a little, a little self-righteous sometimes? But that's kind of on us too, as women and mothers. Yeah, as we nurture men and push girls to be perfect.
Oh, Lord. Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. My apologies for making you suffer through that. So this is Michelle Obama, untethered to any first lady responsibilities anymore, bestowing her wonderful knowledge about how to rear sons. What kind of experience does she have raising boys? Oh, yeah, that's right. None. Michelle, lady to lady here. When you start talking about how boys are a little entitled and a little self-righteous, don't you think that's a little bit of a blanket statement? Don't you really have a problem with people blanket statement making when it comes to just like things that you can't actually control, like a demographic, like a gender? Or a skin color, or a lifestyle preference? Isn't that what we want to get away from? You would think that the progressive left would be really excited about acceptance and not prejudging people based on what your eyeballs see instead of what your mind knows about the individual. Oh, but you have to remember that it is a pillar of the progressive platform to make sure that everybody always knows which bucket they fit in when it comes to being a voting bloc. And where you rank on the ladder of who's oppressed and how greatly you are oppressed. So Obama says, as a Freudian slip, Michelle Obama says a few times here, some pretty insane things. And one of them says that one of the things she says is something like, we nurture our boys, but we raise our girls. I want to play this back again for you, and I want you to think for a second about the way she talks about how we raise our boys and how we raise our girls. And I want you to think back to the 50s and think about how we used to raise our boys and think back to how we used to raise our girls. Think about the pressure that used to be on young boys and the kind of excuse that we would have to young girls because their goal in life was to grow up, get married, and have babies and take care of a house. something happened between the way we used to raise boys and girls and the way that Michelle Obama is saying that we raise boys and girls today. It's completely switched. Listen to what she says again here, and listen to the absolute switch in the way she talks about raising boys and girls.
Because you're running the world, and I know that's one of the questions. It's like raising our men. We got to I was talking to my mother about that the other day. Yes. It's like the problem in the world today is we love our boys, and we raise our girls, you know?
So just for a second, we love our boys and we raise our girls. Didn't it used to be the opposite? Didn't we used to love on and dote on our girls, and we would raise our boys to be something, to make something of themselves, to provide? Isn't that the way it used to be?
We raise them to be strong, and sometimes we take care not to hurt men. And I think we pay for that a little bit.
So we take care not to hurt men. We used to protect women. But somehow or another, this postmodern idea of feminism, where we need women to be exactly equal to men, even though women are different than men, it doesn't take long to prove that. We used to protect our girls from things and allow our boys, we used to allow the boys to experience things, and we would shield the girls from it. But that's not the way it is anymore. Something happened between the way it used to be and the way it is now.
And that's a we thing, because we're raising them, you know? And it's powerful to have strong men, but what does that strength mean? You know, does it mean respect? Does it mean responsibility? Does it mean compassion? Or are we protecting our men too much so they feel a little entitled and a little, a little self-righteous sometimes? But that's kind of.
Are you kidding me with this? We're raising our boys and we're protecting them. Do you know why we're protecting them? Because somewhere along the line, in the effort to get women an equal vote at the ballot box, and in an effort to get women equal pay in their paychecks, somehow or another, the idea of instilling and encouraging this responsibility in boys, somehow or another, it went by the wayside. I would point you to this sexual revolution that came hand in hand with the feminist movement. The main part of the pro-choice movement, which is the main foundation for the feminist movement, is abortion. And we have abortion on the table as the stronghold for women's rights. That's what politicians will constantly tell you, that it's a woman's right to choose. That if a woman is put into the situation where she has an unplanned pregnancy and an unwanted pregnancy, she should have the right to choose what to do next. And you and I both know that the woman did not get into that situation alone. That she did not arrive at the place where she has an unplanned, unexpected, and unwanted life growing inside of her. It is 50% her responsibility, 50% whose? Well, obviously, it's the father's. But what abortion does is it allows men to pressure women into making a choice that they might not feel like is their choice to begin with at all. And it leaves women with the ones who have to go through the procedure, whether the man ever knows about it or not. And it allows women to have to suffer the mental ramifications that come after the fact of going through that procedure. It is the absolute get out of jail free card for men and responsibility. You know, when we choose our words, when we choose our actions, you're behaving in a way that at the time you think is appropriate or is necessary. But there are always consequences, good consequences and bad consequences, that come after we make each and every one of these individual decisions. We have created a world where we are eliminating consequences for actions and then pretending like at the choice to terminate a pregnancy that the consequence has now gone away. And what that does is two things. It allows men off the hook for participating in whatever comes next. And I'm a huge proponent of adoption. I don't think that a woman, if she's in that situation, should be forced to raise a child that she cannot raise. And if she doesn't want to raise that child, give that baby to somebody who wants to love it. Absolutely. And I am a huge proponent of supporting that woman during those 9 months when it is terrifying. I've had 3 babies of my own and not in a situation where it was unexpected or unwanted, and it's still a terrifying process. For your body to go through what your body goes through, it is a very intimidating process. And I would imagine if you don't have somebody going through it with you, it's pretty lonely and exponentially frightening process. A lot of times when it comes down to this conversation, a lot of people want to blame the woman and oh man, don't come in front of me and say she should have made a decision when she was in the bedroom and taken off her clothes or crossing her legs or whatever. Don't come at me and say that, because it's not just on her. It's a 2-person responsibility before and after that decision is made. And you can't put all the pressure on her, but you can help her make the right choice. You can help her get to the place where she's scared and terrified to where this baby is born, and then you can decide to raise that child yourself with some support, or you can give that baby a life with somebody else who wants to love it and raise it. But you can't make it all about the woman. If you're a pro-life person who has said those things before, I want you to really consider how that is counterintuitive to helping move people into your corner, into the pro-life corner. But getting back to what Michelle Obama says, she wants to talk about responsibility and being entitled and being self-righteous. Well, you know, when you can stand there and there are decisions and consequences that don't exist with each other anymore, it opens this avenue for men to be able to be like that a little bit. It opens the avenue for men to say, you don't have to have this baby, just have an abortion. Here's $300. Just go take care of it. I'll take care of you. Just take care of it. That doesn't seem very responsible to me. And yet, in the same conversation, you could talk to Michelle Obama, and she would be talking about a woman's right to choose and how that's empowering. The only reason why abortion is a necessity for the feminist movement is because it allows women to be as free with their lives as men are, because it makes women's lives, their personal lives, consequence-free. But the truth of the matter is the consequence doesn't go away. Maybe the baby does, but the consequence doesn't. So Michelle Obama, she's going on and on and on here about how we coddle our boys, and we need to teach our boys some responsibility. It almost sounds like we need to teach them how to be a man, and we need to teach them what being a man is. Boy, that's something I could get behind. Let's raise our boys to be good, honest men. You say that to a feminist, just by virtue of saying you want to raise them to be a man can be offensive to them, because manhood and masculinity is offensive to this postmodern feminist movement. And that's because postmodern feminism has gotten to the point where it's not about elevating women from a place where they don't have an equal voice when it comes to voting, or they don't have an equal voice in the workplace because they don't get paid enough and they're not respected as much as a man is. It used to be about bringing them up to the table so that they have an equal seat at the table to men. I am for that. I am that kind of feminist, and I am so grateful for the women who came before me who fought that battle. But somewhere between the 50s and 60s, where what Michelle Obama is saying here was completely reversed, where the way we raised our daughters now is the way we raise our sons, somewhere it got completely reversed. And that happened in this postmodern feminist movement, where instead of raising women to be at the level of men, in true mean girl fashion, we have to squash men and masculinity down so that it is below women. So that men understand that their position in our society it's scourge, it's disgusting, it's deplorable, and you should only hope to be able to earn a place back at the table to be with the women. Listen to Michelle Obama talk about how men have some problems and how they need to get some friends to talk this out.
You know, that's something for all folks, but I think women, we do it better than men, but, you know, I know, sad for you guys. Y'all should get you some friends.
Friends.
Get you some friends and talk to each other. Because that's the other thing we do. We straighten each other out on some things. Our girlfriends, we was like, and I just wish, like, sometimes, Baraki, who are you talking to? And it can't just be Marty.
This is a home conversation.
This is a home conversation, but every one of you, as I see a lot of men laughing, y'all need to go talk to each other about your stuff because there's so much of it. It's so messy. Just talk about why y'all the way you are.
Oh, the way you are. Listen, men listening to my show, do not listen to the former First Lady. That is exactly what we need to hear because we need to know how these folks think. We need to know what's inside of their head, how they process our society, our culture, how they process one another, how they process you. You need to get she refers to your stuff as messy, and she basically says you need to get it together and you need to talk to one another. You guys need to talk it out. I'll tell you what. The sooner we get back to men being men, the better. You look at Harvey Weinstein in Hollywood. He takes women as their possessions. He has no understanding of what it is like to treat a woman like a lady. And to be treated like a lady isn't a denigrating thing to women. And to be a gentleman isn't a denigrating thing to men. And back in the day when men had to court women, when men had to pursue a woman and there was a process to it and it wasn't just straight to, the bedroom and then you figure out the rest of the stuff later, that wasn't the worst time in the world. And maybe if we got back to the place, you think about how feminists talk about how awful cult men have been for so long and how we need to be an equal playing field. I'll tell you what, if I'm being courted by a man, and I'm not anymore because I'm happily married, but when I was being courted by a man, it's because he cared for me and he wanted my attention. And that is the most powerful thing you can do, ladies. Be courted. Take care of the control of the situation. It's not a bad thing. Or you can live like leftist Hollywood and be courted by Harvey Weinstein. I've heard lots of stories. They all involve bathrobes, and they're all disgusting. Speaking of feminists and jerks from the left, did you hear what the LA Times reporter said about Sarah Huckabee Sanders? I love Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and I'm going to tell you how much I detest this LA Times writer when we come back. Tweet at me, at Annie Frey Show on the break. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm right. Just say hi. At Annie Frey Show on Twitter. Be back in a minute.
Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Dependable weather.
Clouds take control today. Chance of a couple of spotty
with Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray.
Brought to you by Air Comfort Service. 0% financing and factory rebates, plus utility rebates on a new HVAC system. Details at aircomfortservice.com.
For more than 20 years, Arrowhead Building Supplies customers in St. Peters have had to drive through our industrial park to visit us, often waiting behind big trucks or dealing with the park's railroad crossing. Well, our brand new Salt River Road entrance is now open for our customers, with direct access to our property. Our priority is to bring value to you, and once again, we've delivered. Our new entrance on Salt River Road is big, beautiful, and built just for you. Come try it out and see our showroom. Now also featuring the incredible new Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
AT&T has a network with thousands of best-in-class security experts helping protect from a security breach, which means more security experts like this.
I will guard the network with my life.
And less like this.
Whatever.
More customers like this.
My order's done? This network is so quick.
And less like this.
My order's not done? Your network is so slow.
More of the people threatening your network security saying this.
I can't get in!
And less of them saying this.
Yes, I can get in!
More of a highly secure network with more security products available for further protection. And less per month. That's the power of AND.
Switch to AT&T Internet for Business. You get 100 megabits per second for $40 per month when bundled. Visit att.com/small business internet for details. AT&T Internet for Business promotion offer expires 12/31/17. 24-month promotional rate is $40 per month for 100 times 20 megabits per second dynamic IP service. After promo period, current published rates apply. Subject to change, must purchase qualifying AT&T voice service. Taxes, fees, and other restrictions apply. Actual speeds may vary. Visit att.com/small business internet for details.
The guys, Glover here for the fine people at Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. So, no surprise, I'm going to talk to you today about the holidays because it's a real thing. We want our homes to look as good as they can. We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's and birthdays and anniversaries and engagement parties and the whole bit. Plus, it's wintertime, which means we are going to be spending more time inside. And the kids are going to be rolling around and laying around on the carpet and watching television. So you want your carpets to not only look clean, but you want them to be clean because just think about it from a scientific standpoint, gravity. All the nasty stuff of the world from you, from your dogs, from the earth fall down and it falls on your carpet and it gets real bad. Zero Res can clean them expertly. 3 big rooms for just $119. Call 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Last night we put on an epic light show.
Yeah, we did.
The crowd loved us. We love the crowd.
Wait, but there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? All 8 of their eyes lit up brighter than ours. And we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, that one girl, she looked like she'd never seen glow in the dark like this before, and we invented glow in the dark.
Yeah, we invented it.
And we're gonna be out here every night, rocking out our light show at a forest near you.
Woohoo!
So come check us out.
Check us out.
And bring your kid, all ages show. Oh, but don't bring any of those glass jars, because they make us kind of nervous.
Yeah, and I'm super claustrophobic.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you and discover other cool things to do when you go, like fishing, biking, or even camping. Visit discovertheforest.org.
See you later!
Yeah, see you soon.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids. Healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate, donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Hey folks, Mark Cox here. We want you to join us in thanking first responders all this month. Each day we're going to recognize area police, fire, and EMT units to show support for what they do in the community. We want to raise awareness and say thank you for the difficult job they do every day. Listen to the show for the daily spotlight on our first responders. We encourage you to show your appreciation by donating to Responder Rescue. It's a locally based organization giving assistance to responders in need. Go to 971talk.com for more information and see how you can help.
Could love be the wake-up call? Could love be the wrecking ball? Could love be the medicine? Could love help me breathe again? I've lived enough life, I guess. Took some hits to the chest. The weight of reality, stronger than gravity.
Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Real love, just real love.
Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. Follow me on Twitter at Annie Frey Show, Facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. Go like the page and rate the show, because then other people will find me, and then we'll all hang out together. Also, 971talk.com/Annie. You can listen to my podcasts there, and like this past week, I was on the Think Tank, on the Dave Glover Show with Charlie Tuna Edwards and Rodney Boyd, and those are always fun. And I know you love them because you always tweet at me and tell me how they make you want to drive off the road. But for some reason, you keep listening because you love it. But yeah, go check out the podcast. You can listen to it there at 971talk.com/Annie, but you can also download it at iTunes. You just type in the Annie Frey Show. And if you're like me and you keep hearing iTunes and you're like, but I don't use Apple products, I have an Android, download the app Stitcher. Just go in the Play Store, look for Stitcher, and then you can search the Annie Frey Show. You get to listen to all my podcasts there. But you can also get, this is a cool thing, Allman in the Morning, and you can get the Mark Cox Show, and you can get the Dave Glover Show there, and the Tim Jones Show, and I think Randy Tobler is on there. So you get this whole thing all with downloading the app Stitcher. So you can do that. I don't know. Frank and my husband's in the studio, and you guys are laughing at me. What are you laughing at me?
We're not laughing at you.
No, sure. You guys have the same smile on your face.
Not at all.
Rand Paul?
Yes.
Has had a rough day?
Rand Paul's had a really rough day.
And so he was attacked in his home in Kentucky?
Not in his home. He was attacked in his yard. He was out mowing his own lawn.
Rand
Paul mows his own lawn.
I was just going to say, the news here.
I wonder if it's a push mower or not, but he was out mowing his own lawn. It doesn't say whether he has a rider or not. So clearly he doesn't have anybody
Mark
helping.
Close would let him use the zero turn.
Yeah,
so what happened?
So a neighbor who he's had a dispute with for a little while.
Is he a Democrat?
Confronted him and knocked and assaulted him. He was charged with fourth-degree assault for minor injury. He was taken to the Warren County Detention Center where he's currently being held on $5,000 bond. The senator was mowing his lawn about 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon when the neighbor assaulted him. They actually share a lot right next door to each other.
Oh, my goodness.
So this sounds like
this isn't like
a little neighbor dispute, perhaps.
Or
perhaps
a big neighbor dispute.
Somebody's limb fell on a car. So who knows? I don't know. It could be anything.
How bad does the dispute have to be to actually come at me, bro, to a United States senator while he's mowing his
own
grass?
lawn?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It is so Rand Paul to mow his own lawn.
At some point, don't you think that's something you kind of pass off to somebody else? You pay somebody to do?
Rand Paul is all about personal responsibility and not looking for other people. And yeah, he's... You know what? No. Listen, okay, I'm going to be going to DGS4 here in about 30 minutes.
Good for him for mowing his own lawn.
And if you listen to the Dave Glover Show, you know that Mark Close has zen moments when he cuts his grass. And I know other men like this, and I grew up on a farm. And we had acres, and I loved the opportunity to cut the grass. So
associating a sitting U.S. senator with Mark Close.
Yes,
that's never been done before.
It's a mistake on my part. Now, I think Mark Close would probably be able to get some stuff done in the United States Senate because he would...
Senator Paul is fine. He was blindsided and the victim of an assault, according to a spokesperson.
That's crazy. So a senator mowing his own yard in the state of Kentucky, assaulted by a disgruntled neighbor. I mean, you really can't make that stuff up. But it's good to know that he's okay, and
yeah, he's fine.
It'll be interesting to see if he talks about it afterwards, because Rand Paul has a way of speaking of things very bluntly. So I said before we went to break that I was going to talk about Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and I want you to know about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Chances are, if you're listening to 97.1, that you're probably familiar with her. She is Governor Huckabee's daughter. She is extremely accomplished, extremely smart, and extremely quick with her ability to respond. So if you have ever watched a press briefing with the president, from the president, where she goes and she speaks on his behalf, on the administration's behalf, You've watched her, and she gets, people are throwing haymakers at her left and right to try to bring down the Trump administration, and she throws them right back. And it is bossy in a really complimentary way. That's one of my favorite words. And she is very unmoved by the aggression with which people come at her, which is what I respect her for the most. Because traditionally, stereotypically, when you have a woman in a situation like that, you expect the emotion. That's the stereotype. Woman gets in a high-pressure situation, and there is emotion. That's what traditionally men don't do, and traditionally women do. Which is funny because she follows Sean Spicer, or at least, I guess Scaramucci did it for a week. Is that right? Scaramucci was between Spicy and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I think.
He was not the press secretary. He was the communications director.
Oh.
He didn't do
Did he know that?
Yeah, he didn't do the daily briefing.
So...
He was in there and answered questions once or twice, but he was not the daily briefer.
Got it. So we have an LA Times columnist, and his name is David Horsey. His name is David Horsey, and I'm not going to sink to his level by making fun of his last name. LA Times columnist. He has now apologized, but he said, this is his article, Sarah Huckabee Sanders does not look like the kind of woman Donald Trump would choose as his chief spokesperson. Much like Roger Ailes when he was stalking the Fox News lineup with blonde Barbie dolls and short, tight skirts. The president has generally exhibited a preference for sleek beauties with long legs and stiletto heels to represent his interests and act as his arm candy. For a second here, can we look at the fact that this leftist loon is the one who is categorizing these women solely by what they look like? I'm pretty sure that Melania Trump's only job in life is not to be Donald Trump's arm candy. At this point, we're aware of how intelligent Melania is, and yes, she happens to be beautiful. So you have this columnist, and he's now attacking these women, including Ivanka Trump, which I think it's kind of weird to talk about Ivanka Trump as somebody that Donald Trump accessed and put into play here, because Ivanka Trump is Donald Trump's daughter. So here you have Mr. Horsey from the LA Times attacking these women because they're beautiful. And since they're beautiful, obviously, as he says, the Roger Ailes blonde Barbie doll lineup in short, tight skirts and stilettos with long legs. Obviously, if you have long legs and you wear stilettos and your skirt is too tight, at least for Horsey's opinion, then obviously you don't have a brain. Or at least he's not really looking to get past the physical appearance. If you're beautiful, you can't be beautiful and bright. You are just beautiful, and that's why you're there. That's what LA Times columnist David Horsey is saying here. He goes on to say Trump's daughter, Ivanka, and wife Melania are the apotheosis of this type. By comparison, Sanders looks more like a slightly chunky soccer mom who organizes snacks for the kids' games. Rather than the fake eyelashes and formal dresses she puts on for news briefings, Sanders seems as if she'd be more comfortable in sweats and running shoes. Yet even if Trump privately wishes he had a supermodel for a press secretary, he is lucky to have Sanders. What an a-hole. Okay, David Horsey, this is what I'm going to tell you. You're trying to get to Donald Trump. You're trying to attack Donald Trump because you hate Donald Trump. You hate everything about Donald Trump. You hate everything he stands for and everything that he represents. You hate me because I voted for Donald Trump, and I voted for Donald Trump because Hillary Clinton would have been the worst thing to happen to this country. And David Horsey hates you if you love Donald Trump and you voted for him because you couldn't wait to make America great again. But you, David Horsey, from the LA Times, you are the one who writes 2 large paragraphs categorizing women either by being blonde Barbie dolls with long legs and stilettos and tight skirts, and that's how they get there, or by putting the only other possibility that you could be, if you're not pretty and you're in his words, chunky, obviously, soccer mom, organizing snacks for kids' games. Oh, that's what women are to you, David Horsey. not Donald Trump. You do not get to appropriate this type of despicable behavior to a woman who is going in front of the podium, in front of an extremely hostile and aggressive press every day, hitting the ball right back at them every day with her brain. And she does happen to be beautiful, but if you don't see her as beautiful, that's a you thing, not a Sarah thing. And I know watching Sarah fight back against this hostile press every day, even if you're not the one sitting in the chair in the press room, she don't care what you think either. But keep showing your colors. Keep telling us how shallow you are. Keep showing us how shallow this leftist mentality is, where you are willing to do anything and everything to get to Donald Trump, to the point where you are willing to take one of the smartest, most successful women in the Trump administration, who took over in a line of 4 other communications professionals, Sean Spicer, Corey Lewandowski, Anthony Scaramucci. All these men, they're not the most pretty people I've ever seen, but it never occurred to me to even bring it up. Why is that? Because I'm not a jerk. We're going to take a quick break at Annie Frey Show on Twitter, and we will be back with your phone calls. Give us a call at 314-969-9797 or 866-455-9797. Be back in just a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. This is The Annie Frey Show.
Watch the Mark Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
I'm Jim Evinger, CEO of Renew Sleep Solutions. Are you ready to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea without a big, bulky CPAP mask or painful surgery? The Renew Sleep System is the FDA-cleared, compact, comfortable, custom-fit solution that's proven to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea. Many have already met their deductible for the year, so there may be little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Call 314-279-9000. That's 314-279-9000. Or go to renewsleep.com.
The Monster Energy Supercross 2018 season is here. On race day, preparation turns into determination as the world's greatest dirt bike riders give it everything they've got.
It's all about going to battle, for you. You're the guy that lays it on the line.
Here comes a gate drop. Tickets are on sale now. Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship coming to the Dome at America Center March 17th. Visit supercrosslive.com. Lock in your seats today.
We all have big dreams, whether it's buying a new home, paying off your bills, or even college tuition. Vincent Mortgage understands that sometimes we all need a little help, and that's why we're here. By using the equity in your home, you can turn these big dreams into a reality. Call today and let one of our experienced loan officers help you find the best options for your financial future. 314-839-9999 or visit vincentmortgage.com.
NMLS 225095, 12801, Flushing Meadows, St. Louis 63131.
Hi, I'm Tammy of Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate Team, and we want to be the realtors to help you buy or sell your next home. Are you thinking about selling your house? Well, now is the perfect time. Homes are selling faster than ever if they are priced right and well staged. We also know that buying a home is one of the biggest investments you may ever make, but that doesn't mean it has to be stressful. Our amazing team of full-time realtors can help guide you through the entire process from beginning to end, including setting you up with one of our 3 moving trucks so you can move for free. We are consistently ranked the #1 independent real estate team in southwestern Illinois. Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate knows how to get things done. We sell a house every 30 hours. With over 22 years of experience, I am confident that we can help you accomplish your goals. I believe buying or selling a home is not just a transaction, it's a relationship. So whether you are buying a home or selling a home in the Metro East, go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
St. Charles, St. Louis, or Jefferson counties, need has no geographic boundaries when it comes to poor people, seniors, and the disabled trying to stay warm each winter.
St. Louis City, Madison, or St. Clair counties, and other parts of the region, the poor are struggling, making choices between heating and eating.
HeatUpStLouis.org takes 100% of your online donation. Need has no geographic boundaries. This is Melanie DeLeo, Chair.
This is Reverend Early Nance Jr. Help HeatUpStLouis.org.
Please make a donation.
Savings based on 2-year protection plan compared to T-Mobile premium device protection as of July 12, 2017. SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Terms and conditions apply.
Getting a new phone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So, protecting your phone is a smart idea. But phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $15 every month. Switch to SquareTrade phone protection instead, for half the cost of insurance through your wireless carrier. And you could save $200 or more. It's like protecting 2 phones for the price of 1. SquareTrade covers accidents like drops and spills with easy same-day repair options. Part of the Allstate family, we're trusted by over 30 million customers with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And switching to SquareTrade is easy. How else can you save $200 in 10 minutes? So don't wait. Switch today.
Switch to SquareTrade now and you can save over $200. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Brian Kilmeade with a reminder to join me each weekday morning from 9 till noon as we cover the biggest and hottest news of the day. We even mix in some fun. Kilmeade and Friends weekdays at 9 a.m. on FM NewsTalk 97.1.
She got out of town on a railway, New York bound, took all except my name. Another alien on Broadway. Well, some things in this
Talk lines are open now, 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. This is the Annie Frey Show.
when all your love is gone. Who will save me from all I'm up against out in this world? Maybe.
Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. A few minutes left here before Downrange takes over. And I'm going to head over to DGS 4, where the Dave Glover Show is ascending on the Grandel Theater in downtown St. Louis. And Ed, from what I understand, there are some tickets left over. So you can still go see the show. It's going to be funny. I know it's going to be funny. It's going to be entertaining. I'm looking forward to it. You can follow me on Twitter at Annie Frey Show and check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/Annie Frey Show, 971talk.com/Annie has our podcasts up there, as well as going to iTunes and Stitcher. If you're not an iTunes user, you can get those podcasts through using the Stitcher app on your Android phone. Frank sent me this article earlier this week, and it's a pretty sweet thing about this tax bill. The headline is abortion foes are cheering this provision in a new GOP tax bill. And it says that anti-abortion advocates are cheering a provision in the new House GOP tax bill that explicitly states unborn children are eligible for tax-advantaged 529 college savings plans. The language doesn't represent a change to existing law, as prospective parents can already open the accounts even before they conceive, but abortion opponents say that the provision strengthens the argument that unborn children should be treated as people and given equal protection under the law. This goes into the idea that we are going to recognize the unborn as people. And being able to save for them is for their future before they're born, and stating it, having a government situation where it is stated, then we're moving into the direction of identifying the unborn as alive, as something worth protecting. I think that that's a super, super valuable step, and it's definitely heading in the direction that it needs to be headed in. I'm going to take a quick phone call here. Mark, thanks for calling the show.
Hi, Annie. I don't know if you've talked about it tonight or not, but as far as Hillary goes, how can we have a two-tier justice system she's guilty. She did it. Why aren't we nailing her big butt to the barn door?
Yeah, I think especially in the last few weeks, we are certainly finding how deep this swamp actually goes, and looking at how we've watched the FBI and the way it's operated over the last couple months, and finding out how it's operated over the last few years. There's so much that goes on in Washington, D.C., in the swamp, that we just aren't even privy to. And the point is that we never get access to this information. I think one of the most advantageous things to Donald Trump's presidency isn't necessarily how he reforms the Republican Party or changes, the party system, but it's really about how he doesn't have this political career that he is going to rely on for decades and decades to come to be successful, but to be able to expose a lot of the inaccuracies, the unfairness that exists in Washington, D.C. And I think the way we treat Hillary Clinton from a legal manner, from a justice system perspective, is certainly one of those ways that we need to actually figure out people are guilty or they're not, and we're either going to prosecute people or we're not.
Donald, keep tweeting, please.
You're a fan of the tweets, Mark.
You know what? I'm not on Twitter, but he's the only politician in Washington, D.C. who instantly puts it out there, and billions of people are reading what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been really wrong a lot, has he?
He's probably been crass. He's probably not said things in the most polished way that makes some of us go, okay, there's probably a better way to present that. But at the same time, when he puts this information out there, he's usually giving us information that if we didn't get it from his Twitter account, we wouldn't get it.
Right, and that's sad. That's really, really sad. I forget who I was listening to the other day, but back in the day, there was ABC, NBC, CBS. Oh, it was Dave Glover.
Yeah.
And he said, you watch the nightly news and you got what they were dishing out, and you're like, well, that's weird. But that was it. That was all you had.
Yep. Thanks, Mark, for calling the show.
Everybody bought it.
Yep, I understand what you're saying, and we have access to so much right now. We have access to so much second by second information that it's really on you to look at the information that you're getting and understand the source and the purpose behind it. Is the source is the purpose of what you're consuming from a news perspective, is the purpose to inform or is it to persuade? I mean, Frank, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't really think of many news sources that exist that don't have some element of persuasion involved in them anymore. It's like the money is in some sort of persuasion. You have to have a little bit of a lean. There are obviously ones that lean more than others.
Sure.
But there are very few places that you can go where you just get completely, totally unfiltered, factual information.
Clearly not Facebook or Twitter.
No.
MySpace.
And MySpace?
Friendster.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Somebody get the digital brand manager in here to tell me how that stuff works.
They're coming back, baby.
Fair enough. I will get on that soon. The media, like Mark was saying, the media in the olden days gave you the information and you took it and you got it at your nightly news, and then you went on with other things. With your life, with your family, with your job, taking care of your responsibilities. That's the way it was. Now, news is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It does not stop. You can be, especially, Frank, you could probably relate to this too, and so can the rest of the people who work at the station specifically. But if you take a break, if you take a 48-hour hiatus, vacation days, or if you're sick or something and you're holed up in your house and you're not in the news cycle, like the entire scenario can change.
It can change from the time you get up in the morning till the time you leave work.
Yeah, you leave for a dentist appointment and you come back and something insane has happened.
Exactly. It all happens so fast. And getting back to your point about being skewed is that, remember, so much of this is portrayed as news when in reality it's entertainment.
Yeah. You have to be smart enough, and you have to be smart enough to read through an article, know the source, know the persuasion of the source that you're reading from, and be able to say, okay, there's this fact in this article, and then the rest of this is how this particular publication or news source feels about these said facts. And then you read it and you pull out, and then if you're like me, you probably read 3 or 4 other articles from other sources, and you can kind of see the consistencies that are there, and then a few opinions here and a few opinions there that are on top of it. The leftist media, they don't want thinkers. They want consumers. They want people who get spoon-fed their media, their information, and then you just run the party line. The left would probably say that the right wants that too. But it's hard to tell because there's such a small, at least in the mainstream media, there's such a small source for people who are conservative-leaning to consume that type of information. That's why the blogs and the internet, the websites, and all those things have been so successful. And we love having you here at 97.1 all day, every day, and we do the same thing with our shows. We take the information and you listen to us because you want to hear what Jamie Allman says about something. You want to hear what Mark Cox and Brian Kilmeade and Dave Glover say about these things, and then you still think for yourself. We trust you to think for yourself. You should trust us to think for ourselves. I mean, we don't need to be an echo chamber. It's important that we discuss ideas, disagree on them, and then leave and come back and have the discussion another day. Downrange is coming up next, and from what I understand, what was the one that you were...
Psych with Mike has a great interview with a former heroin addict.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's coming up tonight too. At Annie Frey Show on Twitter. See you next week.
Your seriously ill patients return again and again for high acuity care in the ED or hospital setting when symptoms aren't managed correctly. Vitas Healthcare offers palliative alternatives to aggressive treatment as we transition those hospice-eligible patients to comfort care at home. From inpatient hospice beds to continuous care at home, Vitas has the resources to care for your most complex patients. Refer today. Don't delay. Call 888-VITAS-80 or go to Vitas.com. That's VITAS.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Brook Linen. They are a linen company, duh. They do sheets and comforters and pillowcases and duvet covers and things like that. And they reached out to me because of the success I've had with their friends at Harrys.com. It's a very similar story where this couple who started Brook Linen, Vicky and Rich, stayed at a nice hotel and they slept on this great bedding. And the next morning they're checking out and they made a joke like, hey, I wish we could buy that bed linen. And they said, you can. It's $800. And they laughed and they went to breakfast. Then they checked into it and they realized that with all bedding, there's so many middlemen that they could get you better bedding, higher quality, higher thread count at a fraction of the cost by simply doing it themselves. They're the fastest growing bedding company in the world, 12,000 five-star reviews. I can get you $20 off and free shipping when you use the promo code Glover at brooklinen.com, BROOKLINEN. Everything's guaranteed. Check it out, brooklinen.com.
AT&T has a network with thousands of best-in-class security experts helping protect from a security breach, which means more security experts like this.
I will guard the network with my life.
And less like this.
Whatever.
More customers like this.
My order's done? This network is so quick.
And less like this.
My order's not done? Your network is so slow.
More of the people threatening your network security saying this.
I can't get in!
And less of them saying this.
Yes, I can get in!
More of a highly secure network with more security products available for further protection. And less per month. That's the power of AND.
Switch to AT&T Internet for Business. You get 100 megabits per second for $40 per month when bundled. Visit att.com/smallbusinessinternet for details. AT&T Internet for Business promotional offer expires 12/31/17. 24-month promotional rate is $40 per month for 100 times 20 megabits per second dynamic IP service. After promo period, current published rates apply. Subject to change, must purchase qualifying AT&T voice service. Taxes, fees, and other restrictions apply. Actual fees may vary. Visit att.com/smallbusinessinternet for details.
Contractors, meeting with your customers can be difficult. Making time to actually sit down and go over product and color selections is tough when your suppliers close by 5 p.m. every day. Only Arrowhead Building Supply has your solution. We've built mind-blowing, beautiful showrooms that are professional and convenient. We now have new store hours until 8 p.m. weekdays and noon on Saturdays. Arrowhead has also built private contractor presentation rooms for you. These feature large LED televisions and product video libraries so you can show your customers how products will look and what to expect. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
KFTK FM,
Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1.
His first trip to Asia since taking office. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. President Trump arrives in Japan shortly, kicking off a 12-day tour. Fox's John Roberts near Tokyo.
The president will start here in Japan, then he's going to go to South Korea. From South Korea, he will go to Da Nang for the APEC conference in Vietnam, then on to the capital city of Hanoi. From there, he'll go to Beijing for a couple of days with Xi Jinping, and then he'll finish off by going to Manila in the Philippines for the annual ASEAN conference. The president spent an entire day in Hawaii yesterday. He gave an address to the troops that were stationed there, where he touched down and as well visited the USS Arizona Memorial, where he and the First Lady Melania Trump placed a wreath into the water.
North Korea and trade are expected to top the agenda. House Republicans tweak their tax reform bill. Fox's Jill Nato has the latest from Washington.
The top tax plan writer in the House, Congressman Kevin Brady of Texas, releasing a revised version of the tax cut bill Friday that the GOP rolled out earlier this week. The revision means more income getting taxed at higher rates. One example is wages rise. Middle-class taxpayers could have more of their income taxed at the 25% rate instead of at 12%. The change means about $89 billion less going back to taxpayers over the next 10 years.
Democrats say the measure is all smoke and mirrors.
The tax plan released by President Trump and congressional Republicans is not real tax reform. Instead, it cuts taxes for the wealthiest Americans and raises taxes on middle-class families.
Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro in her party's weekly address, the president wants the bill on his desk by Christmas. Was the contest rigged? Former DNC chairwoman Donna Brazile in a new book alleges that the Hillary Clinton campaign agreed to take over the DNC's troubled finances and operations in order to keep Bernie Sanders from getting the nomination. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official FM News Talk 97.1 Weather Center forecast calls for cloudy skies with a shower tonight, low a mild 62. Breezy, warm, and humid tomorrow with more clouds and sun, high 77. Watch out for thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. Some will be severe with damaging wind and hail. There's a risk for an isolated tornado, too. Lingering showers early, otherwise cloudy and cooler tomorrow night, low 45. Mainly cloudy and cool Monday, high 53. I'm meteorologist Frank Strait for FM News Talk 97.1.
Summer's slowly coming to an end, and once again you've put off getting the repairs done to your home's basement. Don't wait any longer. The basement specialists at Midwest Basement Tech will give you 3 good reasons not to put off fixing that leaky, cracked basement. Reason number 1. The problem will only get worse and cost you more money in the long run. Number 2, call now and save 10% on all repairs. They also offer 12 months same as cash, or stretch it out with their long-term financing program. And reason number 3, Midwest Basement Tech is family-owned and operated and a great company to work with. They actually care about your home. They have a fully staffed office, and when you call, you can actually talk to a real person. Midwest Basement Tech offers only patented engineered products to create a healthy and strong basement, serving both sides of the river. Call the experts at Midwest Basement Tech now. 800-848-9805. That's 800-848-9805. Or visit their website, MidwestBasementTech.com.
Radio moves. Radio breathes. Radio never sleeps. And Next Radio keeps up. It goes where you go, so you never miss a beat. It's live, it's local, it's a connection. A shared experience, just you and your radio. And a couple million people, give or take. Next Radio keeps up. You thought that phone couldn't get any smarter? Well, it got simpler. It got leaner. It's got your back. And it'll keep you moving, winning, in the know. And it'll get you where you want to go. All in the palm of your hand. Next Radio. Live and local, wherever you go.
Listen to your favorite FM stations with the free Next Radio app. Live and local, wherever you go. Download the free Next Radio app today.
At SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, our patients and families often talk about the Glennon Factor, what Glennon gives to our patients. Glennon gives hope for a new day, healing in time of illness, faith to the brokenhearted, compassion for the injured, our caregivers take that extra step, revealing God's healing presence to all they serve. Join us in providing hope and healing for our patients. Give to Glennon at glennon.org.
The Financial Symphony is a show that blends the worlds of music and finance together in one harmonious package. It features your local financial maestro, Jerry Means.
A lot of advisors out there are mainly giving accumulation advice or looking at the growth through your working years. You really need to take a look at, is your advisor giving you advice on preservation and distribution?
That's the Financial Symphony with Jerry Means, Sunday mornings at 9 on FM NewsTalk 97.1.
Brian Kilmeade here. Join me on Saturday, November 18th for a special morning event as we discuss my latest book, Andrew Jackson and the Miracle of New Orleans, the battle that shaped America's destiny. The 97.1 Speaker Series event powered by the Hammond Institute will be held at the J. Scheidegger Center at Lindenwood University. It's free to attend, but you can win sold-out VIP tickets that include a personal meet and greet, reserved seating, and a copy of my new book at 971talk.com. Presented by NTP Cybersecurity.
This is Downrange with John and Ron. Certified NRA instructors John Henderson and Ron McCain from the Range St. Louis West take you inside the world of firearms and personal protection. This is Downrange, the radio show that asks,
Are you ready?
Welcome back to Downrange with John and Ron. I'm your host, John Henderson, the owner of the Range St. Louis West, joined with Mr. Ron McCain.
You're always calling me Mr.
I respect my elders.
I don't think you call me Mr. any other time other than we're on this show.
All right, well, how are we doing, Ron?
I'm finer than frog here.
You recover from Halloween from that whole video episode?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's funny. We shot that video. Anna actually hit me in the head twice, and I don't think it was an accident.
Well, see, we were actually paying her for each hit she actually made.
She got a bonus.
So
yeah, it's good.
But
still riding the sugar high.
No, we got a lot of feedback on that video. It was quite funny, especially the very end.
Yeah,
so if you haven't seen that video, we did a little Halloween video. You go to Facebook and check that out. Make sure you watch the whole thing, including Ron's dance at the end.
I don't know who that. No, that was the scary clown.
So that was funny. So all right, so a lot going on today. Later on in segment 2, we're going to be joined with Miss Sam from the Range is going to join us, talk about the Well-Armed Woman. And that is a program starting up. So it's a great program for women.
I'm excited to have her on. She's going to bring a really cool perspective because people think gun range, then they think, cigars, chewing tobacco, bib overalls, good old boys club kind of thing.
Yeah, she doesn't fit that description at all.
She does not fit that description at all. 22 years old.
22 years old. So.
The brightest red hair you'll ever see in your life, and she carries a gun. And she trains.
I like it. So.
I'm excited that she's going to be on today.
So we're going to talk a little bit about different things in the gun industry. We'll do a legislative update on silencers, bump stocks, and a couple other cool guns that are out there that are available as well that we haven't mentioned before.
I like it.
So, but before we do all that, let's get started. Give us a recap on everything that's going on at the Range coming up.
Well, we just finished another CCW class today. 24 students in that class. I've said it before, but I continue to be impressed with the maturity level that gun owners show. Missouri is a right to carry state. It's a constitutional carry state. But those who do choose to carry a firearm recognize that they need training in order to do that, in order to use that tool and really understand what the law says. Ignorance of the law is never an excuse in court. You can't say I didn't know that and get away with it. So kudos to them. Upcoming classes that we've got, upcoming training events. This Tuesday we have Defensive Handgun 1, and that is actually designed for that person who's just completed a basic handgun course and or gotten their CCW and they want to actually learn to use the tool. The concealed carry permit, you relate to it all the time as your learner's permit, just like when you're driving. This is where you actually learn to use the tool, how to draw it from concealment, how to engage a target, using verbal commands, using movement. I've taken that class. Jason, our instructor there, actually trains police officers for a living. That's his job and does a great job with that class. So that's coming up Tuesday, November 7th. We do have a couple of spots left in that. You can go for any of these classes. You can always go to therangeSTL.com, click the training tab, and then choose the month that you want to look at, and all of our classes are listed right there. And then, obviously, you can call us, 636-220-1300. We can register you over the phone, answer any questions that you've got. And then we're going to talk about this in segment 2. Well-Armed Woman is going to be in the house at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, November 7th. For those female listeners out there who want to know more about that, stay tuned. We're going to talk about that. But that Well-Armed Woman is much more than just about women and guns. It's really about situational awareness. It's about tools that you can use to take care of yourself and your family.
There's more to it than just firearms.
Yep. So that's also on November 4th. And then Wednesday, November 8th, we're going to do our most popular course, Girls Just Want to Have Guns. Guys, don't get discouraged. There are classes in here for you, too. I know
actually, you've got your own program in the works. Yeah. We're going to roll that out next year. So.
Yeah, that's right. Coming in January, we're going to have a program just for the guys, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, we are on November 8th doing Girls Just Want to Have Guns. Tell you what, if you have any trepidation about firearms, ladies, and you want your own time, your own space, maybe bring your daughters, your mother, your friends. And we see that all the time. We have groups of ladies show up and make a night out of it. You get an hour's worth of really good, basic, fundamental firearm training, as well as we always want people to leave with more than they expected. We're going to go over some tools that they can use other than a firearm. We're going to talk a lot about situational awareness, things to look for. And then you'll spend an hour shooting a firearm anywhere from a .22 all the way up to a AR-15. And they all stand in line to shoot that AR-15, even those first-time shooters. That's one of my favorite things.
It's really funny to watch that happen because you'll have somebody who's never shot before, and they'll go from never shot a firearm all the way up to shooting the AR-15. And that gun can sort of look intimidating, but it's really not. It's fairly simple firearm to operate.
Yeah,
so it's really fun to see that happen.
Well, at least half of the ladies that come to these classes have never shot a firearm or have very, very limited firearm experience. And there's a fear factor there because it's a fear of the unknown, right?
Right.
No, and that's absolutely understandable. And, you want to respect that firearm, and there's fear in that tool if you've never used it before. But I tell you, at the end of the night, every one of them, regardless of shooting experience, shoots that AR-15, and they just have a ball with it. Yeah. And then after that, they come upstairs and have some wine, cheese, cupcakes.
Fun cake.
Yep. And we give away a lot of cool swag, including membership at there. So, ladies, that class tends to fill up quickly. So definitely, if you're something you're interested in, take a look at that on Saturday, November 11th. And then the 14th of November, Defensive Handgun 2. This is the growth, the next step along our journey, along our path to personal preparedness from a handgun standpoint. And then Thursday, November 16th, our free class. Anybody that buys a firearm from us, our new owner orientation course. Bring your gun. Our armor, either Jake or Rich, will sit down with you and show you how to take it apart, clean it, put it back together, properly maintain it. We do that absolutely free. If you did not purchase a firearm from us, you are welcome to join us. It's $45, but I think that one's actually filled.
Well, we actually had to expand that class. It did get filled up and got filled up like 2 weeks ago. So we've actually added another instructor. So there'll be basically 2 classes in one. So there's room in that course.
And then Saturday, November 18th, we're going to do a CCW class. And then Sunday, November 19th, we're going to do at 1 o'clock in the afternoon an Edged Alternative Weapons Fundamental course with Dennis. That's one of my favorite courses that we have because I've always got my hands with me, right? I've always got my physical person. This is where Dennis can show you how to use those tools and improvise tools like a pen or a toothbrush, to actually defend yourself with. But I think one of the most fun classes that I'm looking forward to is that morning we're going to do an anti-carjacking 1 seminar. And it's interesting. I looked at how they named these courses. Originally, we said we're going to do a carjacking seminar. And then Phil said, well, we're not teaching people how to carjack somebody, are we? So we had to change that to anti-carjacking. And we actually did a couple of free seminars.
Demos on Appreciation Day.
On our Guest Appreciation Day. Very, very popular. A lot of people asking questions, and you're going to get to participate. You're going to actually get to participate in being a victim and being the
perpetrator,
a criminal.
Yep.
So lots of things to learn there. And then Monday, November 20th, we're going to do another CCW course. And Monday's my favorite day for classes because it's a 3-day weekend. Tuesday, November 21st, low light defensive fundamentals. Definitely a must. If you're going to carry a gun, bad things happen.
You've heard me say this again, and just this past week, I had a law enforcement agency, won't name who it was, contact us on doing low light training at the range because it is such an integral part of being able to handle yourself in those situations. Because think about it, most bad guys operate at night. Makes sense for law enforcement agencies to have that, and virtually every agency does. Our range is sort of uniquely equipped versus like an outdoor range where you're sort of at the mercy of the weather and have to wait for it to be dark. We can do that at 8 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon if we need to. But it's equally important for the average person because, again, bad guys tend to operate at night.
Those are fun to observe. I go in and watch actually some of that training that the officers do for that low light. They'll turn all the lights off in the bays. That actually in that bay is set up specifically to simulate a car stop. We've got red and blue flashing lights that are in there so that they can simulate a car stop at night and some of that stress that goes on. And I tell you what, it's a completely different animal when you're using that tool when it's dark.
And it's different when you're put in that environment and the stress that you feel, even though you know it's a training scenario.
Yep, exactly.
Still induces stress.
So we're going to do low light on November 21st, and then the 28th, basic handgun skills. And this is somebody who maybe just got their CCW and wants to freshen up those skills, or somebody that really doesn't know a lot about firearms and they want to learn. And to be honest with you, that's a course that I still like to take because, we've said it before, Ozzie Smith didn't stop taking basic ground balls once he made the majors. You have to continue to repeat and train those muscles and develop that skill. And
it bears mentioning again that once you take a course through the range, you get to audit that course for free in the future. So there's no tuition fee for that once you've taken and completed the course.
Yep. So that takes us really all the way through November for all the cool stuff. Now, something else that I kind of want to throw out there is, we're getting to, we're talking about the end of November and the calendar is, what have we been doing for the last week?